Alright. We gotta get Reaper out of the way. So what do we want to do for Reaper? If we're gonna really make him work, we need something to tank. Hopefully some help with ring 1 as well. That 6 health 2 pip is very bad. So we could do drags, as bad as that is. We could also just do Reform Reaper. That's also a thing too. It's not a great thing. It's maybe something that we only do ring 1. I don't love it, but it's not out of the question. Could be kind of cool, like a Grim Reaper in a way. But then, like, long term, maybe we just don't reform it that way. But like first 2 or 3 rings, we do that. That's definitely a possibility. We could try that. Now, I wouldn't force full Reaper. I think that it's so silly to do so. But it's obviously no point to flexing Wrath either. I guess it's like if I see Brawler, I'm gonna pick it up after Reaper. A lot of these you can justify going full, or at least, meme it. Now, if I see a one-horn tome in the first rings rewards, then yeah, I'll do full Reaper. But otherwise, I don't know. If I'm going to use the champ, I may as well pick up a Brawler if I see it. I am kind of leaning toward this. Let's try it. Hopefully we get offered Reaper. Ooh, Ritual of Battle. Impressive. Ring 3, ring 9 will be tough, or ring 8, I guess. Yes! Obviously you would go Brawler here every time though. You start with Ritual, come on. Memorial Fund is probably fine. I don't know that we lose a lot of units, but a Melting Spout is just one of the most useless things in the game. I think the Divine Boons is fine. We want to find a good tank. I don't love the armor here. There'll be a guy behind the boss. We also started with Impressive, which sucks. We do have rituals. It's a unit draft. Got a Hellhorn though, it's most likely good. Hellhorn there's good. I mean, how much Pyre Health are we gonna pay, I guess, is the question here by doing this. I even wonder, like, do we really want to reform the Prince here? We might be better reforming just Stewards and slapping rituals on the Prince. I think a unit draft is probably worth the health that we're going to give up here. It's an easy boss, at least. I think we want to get something in the pool, and let's have it be a tank. Yeah. Get that thing in range to at least get slayed. Well, that definitely sucks. That one ritual is wasted. Should have torched this thing. Then I could have had 2 of these in the pool. Pretty big mistake, but it is what it is. I don't think we want any more stewards in the pool. I'm gonna risk it here. We should be getting a blocker for next turn. I guess it wasn't. Yeah, it was guaranteed. We drew as bad as we could have, but still ends up being fine. We can full block there. We're going to take 10 more. It is what it is. Getting the Purifying Cleanse here is really good. We'll just do that, and then we should be good to go. At 59, we hope that this is enough. doesn't look like it is. We should barely survive here, though. Those breakpoints are hilarious. Whatever. Definitely want some backline clear. Hidden passage, not completely out of the question either. Vent's alright, but it's odd man out here. Hornbreak is just better removal, and Hidden Passage is opening up some stuff. I mean, if I miss on like Horn Warrior, and I miss on Brawler, I miss on One Horn Tome, the ritual isn't as good as it could be. If that's the case, you know, if we think in a world where we never find... Whoops, sorry. Trying to avoid my tea sipping sound hitting the mic, so I, you know, to quote Tezande, I move my mouth away from the mic, and I forget to put it back when I'm talking. Hopefully that wasn't too long, but anyway, Hidden Passage I think opens up some additional stuff. We could even think along the lines of Paraffin Enforcer with the Purifying Cleanses. Definitely overstacking becomes enticing. But a Hornbreak, considering I'm at 10 Pyre health, is also enticing to just save my life right now. It also kind of makes up for... Here's the thing, we might just end up with AoE and then this isn't as good, right? I like the Hidden Passage. Draft looks pretty good, but it also means I'm gonna like not really lean on Hornbreaker Prince, because that's most likely saying, oh, I'm gonna go for some Paraffin Enforcer or Wickless Baron shenanigans. Perhaps the Entombed Explosive is better right now if I really want to commit to Reaper. Okay, Baron is acceptable. Rail Beaters may be better. The Baron might work a little bit better with this Hidden Passage. Gotta just do a Rail Beater. Endless and Burnout, huh? Spellchain Purge. I mean, I'm not gonna not take that. Alright, we have a Deranged Brute. Yikes. I don't know what we're doing here. This is what we could do. We could put the Rage on this thing. I can put the Rail Beater into it to give it some power, or alternatively I could just put the Multi-Strike on the Rail Beater. Problem is now we're really moving away from Reaper Prince, but I think that's fine. We could go Steel. If we could get a Steelworker, we could put it into the Deranged Brute. Move it up with Hidden Passage. Maybe we'll just commit to this Brute and maybe get rid of the Rail Beater, or use it as an essence into the Deranged Brute. I'd rather wait till here to see what we're doing there, though, because I would like to get a Steelworker if I could instead of a Rail Beater essence. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work. Can't play it. Could just get rid of a Torch. They're not really going to be that good for me. Spell Chain is no good. Might go here to try to get a Ritual costed down. Yeah. Spikes for money is honestly iffy. This is just why Reaper sucks. Like, 6 health, that's a big part of why it sucks. You know, if you could justify this path a little more, and keep in mind we're in the least risky point because we have Feminine, but even still it sucks, right? Like, you just give it some health. Like, it's a 2-pip unit. Like, look at the beef there. You telling me this thing has 6 health? That's Tethys level health. But it's... even Tethys is just 1 pip, so I can fit 2 units in front of it. I don't know. Reaper Prince is rough. Probably still better than Dire Channel, though. I don't know. There's upside that is present that it just isn't present with Dire Channel. I feel like we can probably take this. I'm just gonna, like, lean on my deranged brute. But we really don't want to leak. All I need to do is hit... I mean, if I... Here, let's run Reaper Prince as the Reaper in this fight. And then we'll just build a floor here otherwise. Alright, this is fine. We're gonna go like that. Ritual at 3, you can see, is a lot worse than Ritual at 1. But still usable. So Reaper gave us 10 gold, that's what it did for us. Fortify might actually be takeable here. At the same time, maybe it's just not worth it. We do need a defensive scaling plan, but Fortify is by far the worst of that. We might as well just use Purifying Cleanse if we're going to do something like that. Like, if we don't end up with a Steelworker infusion, I don't really know that Fortify does enough. I mean, we're getting 15 heal from a Purifying Cleanse. If I can just hold that over, it would be acceptable. Is Event worth it, though? Because I don't really have any good removal. I think Event is probably worth it here. I could take another Purifying Cleanse. I could take a Molded. For a while, this bomb coming back will be good. We just skip here. Alright. Ooh, definitely goes here. That opens up Holdover and whatever you call it. Could have done a Baron Infusion, I just don't like it that much. Let's take a look here. So if I buy cost reduction here, does mean that I reroll and can't afford what comes out sometimes. I think that's fine, because I do want to Hellvent a 1 cost that doesn't cost me shards. It's a perma Shit Frost anyway. No need of a Shit Frost, let's just get that down to a 1. So we literally get the worst possible Merchant of Magic, but that's fine. I'm a-okay finding the minus whatever there. And I think a Piercing here is definitely worth. We're still not going to merge units though. I think Stewards are pretty bad for us right now. And we're going to the Hellvent here for sure, so why don't we just get rid of a Steward? There's just dead weights when I need to, and honestly we could just surge down that. One of them. Okay. Let's get Reaper going. and flowing. Maybe we'll get something out of Reaper this fight. She will be back. And we do want the Brute in the back. So let's put him in the front. So eventually it gets pushed to the back. He dies anyway. Let's just eat up another lifesteal then. As you can see though, the stewards are definitely just dead weights. Definitely want to kill that. Not getting any rituals is fun. Or vents. Let me tell you, it is real nice fun. I mean, we might as well just move this up if it's gonna not die. Okay, we could prevent some damage here. I think we're better off doing this though. That kills both of them. Still dying, huh? Okay, we're gonna put this, just prevent some damage. We hold that? Probably should have extended his burnout. Oops. Don't think it will largely matter. Still want to prevent some damage, right? Reaper killed the tank. It did something. We'll definitely win this fight. And he's eating up lifesteal. That's good, right? Okay. Nailbiter. Obviously, Hallowed Halls is not good with Rage being our main thing right now, and also even if Reaper and no Rage was the plan, I don't really know how a Hallowed Halls is super great with that, considering position is so important with Reaper Prince. These are just dead draws here. Sucks because there's a lot of good rares, but I'm not too worried about it. Like, yeah, it looks a lot more dire than it is. We're probably just going to put the Rail Beater into the Deranged Brute if I have to. Draw for now. Really hope for a Steelworker here though, because otherwise it's like kind of hard to make this Reaper do anything. Spell Chain Pierce, not the best here. Alright, we're bricking a little bit, but it's fine. We'll just, I'm gonna put this together. I really do want to use Reaper. Well, let me think about this. I mean, I'm technically using Reaper probably in a better way right now than I would if it was on my main floor. I'll tell you what. Let's see if we're getting Brawler or not. We are, so I am just gonna use it on my main floor then. So the nice thing now is, you know, I have a Trap Shoot, which is a great intrinsic target. We still need to find a way to, like, set up top. We need some defensive options, which we just don't have right now. But, you know, with a 10 armor, I'll eventually get a little bit more armor with a second point of Brawler. We'll be somewhat okay here. Now, I will say the multi-strike doesn't make a whole lot of sense here because we're really wanting to build around the Hornbreaker Prince, but it's fine. I think throwing a few rituals onto the Deranged Brute still kind of works. I think we'll do this. Just help with the priority draws here. We're not going to take them, though. We will take every horde that's on the map, which is apparently only one 1 total. That kind of sucks in this combo, but whatever. Are we good into stealth boss is a question. I don't know that we are. Well, definitely we get rid of that. That's easy. Easy choice. I mean, the other way we do this is we could maybe Hellvent the Deranged Brute and still do what we've been doing with the whole Reaper Prince plan of like making it reform on a bunch of floors. It's not necessarily out of the question. I do think right now we still want to Hellvent this, though. I just don't know what my second removal here is. I guess I could get rid of one of these Purifying Cleanses, but I guess the torches are pretty bad. Let's get rid of a torch. I know I have the Seraph the Diligent, but we'll just have to figure things out. Spikes for an artifact is probably not that bad. This is a weird one. I think for this fight, we might want to set up bottom. Or I might want to do what I've been doing with the Reaper Prince and have it reform and stuff. The spikes definitely means that Reaper will die, so at 33 health, it's tough for me to really take many risks, and 70 shards, and the worst troop possible with the worst boss possible for my deck. You know, even with my removed torches here, I still have 3 of them, and one of them's upgraded. Then I have events, so like that would take care of all of the other fights, but it does nothing into this fight. I have the oomph to beat them if I can draw my rituals in time, but it's, you know, 1 draw upgrade, 24 cards. With 3 of them in the deck even, I could still technically take, you know, think of in terms of, I'm drawing 6 a turn. 6 times 4, it could be 4 turns before I draw a single ritual. And that would just be death with the spikes. So probably just don't take the trial. Of course, we get a sharded up backliner in the first wave. That's how it fucking goes, right? Now, one shitty thing here is adding the armor means I'm at 16 health, which means I don't die if I put it down here. So actually, maybe I should have just gone full Reaper to open up that plan. But no, I think we commit to what we wanted to do, which is to actually use the Prince like this. I don't think it's even worth it to put a Steward into the pool. I think we really want to get that Entombed Explosive to be the single unit that's in the pool. And there we go. Unfortunately, we have... let's go... I do want it in the pool. So let's take this out. Put that there. We'll just have to live with missing on one of my rituals. It's fine because Reaper actually has so much offense that it really doesn't matter. I'm going to be using this as a chump blocker. I really can't be taking that damage. So we're just going to go like this. I'm just going to live with this damage. We should definitely hold that for the boss. We should kill these. Oh, we need a chump block first though. And actually this will make it so that this dies, so that's good. Good shit. Notice how all of the shards always did the very backmost tank. Game really hates me, confirmed. At least I'm drawing well though. Able to chump block every turn is definitely good. Okay, they're all dead. So, I think we just bring this up. I was gonna say maybe we bring him up so he doesn't resolve, but I have a chance to get trap shoot, and either way, just getting a chump blocker is probably best. Should have torched. No, torch didn't matter here. Yeah, we get this anyway. It looks like we didn't need anything, so that's a good sign, but we'll just show them how bad we had them here. Boom. See that? Reaper does do a lot of damage. Granted, it could be a potato at this point, right? But, oh, easiest choice of my life. Tiresome Climb, huge pickup, gigantic pickup. One of the best cards in the game. Huge reason why, one of the many reasons why Hellhorn's my favorite clan. Though I do think Wurmkin's the best clan. I think Hellhorn's second. I just don't enjoy Wurmkin as much. It's just so hard to miss completely on everything with Wurmkin. It's almost impossible. You'll never find a truly cursed seed with Wurmkin. You know, Hellhorn technically has those seeds where it's Consumer of Crowns, Demon Fiend. There is that chance. And honestly, seeds where you don't find Ritual or Fledgling can sometimes be tough. But you still have to miss on quite a lot to have a tough seed. I don't think we take any of these. I mean, the Fatal Melting is not going to be better than Vent. I'm going to take these as spell fodder, though. And a Diligent. I don't think I will. I think I have enough fodder. Removal and nothing. I don't think I would want to Endless the Tomb. Ironically, that Melting Spout would actually be pretty good with Endless here, though, because then I actually like the 30 and Burnout there, because it would be pretty good, but that's fine. I don't know. We still might want Stewards for Stealth Boss, potentially. I might go left here because I don't have good removals otherwise. Like, the Torches probably should stay in the deck for Diligent. Let's get some Pyre Health. Pyre Health's pretty good here considering how low I am. Vapor Funnel could be good. Lightstone Casing. Probably not that good. So only one more Temple. The Merchant of Magics are not getting hit. They're just not getting hit. Let's take a look here. This is fine to use on this one. We want to purge this, but giving it health just helps it in the Stealth Boss. And Split Anvil's a little bit too late to be useful to me. Though it does still hit on the Tiresome Climb and the Vent. But is that really that necessary? Like, does it really open up turns that I wouldn't otherwise get? I guess it's better. Maybe just refracting lenses, right? I mean, I don't really see myself leaking, though. Like, how would I ever leak? If I'm leaking, that means I'm dead. I would rather support just being able to survive my units, which right now, like Tiresome Climb, which makes me even not want to take that Vapor Funnel as I think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit low in health, but that's just because the start sucked. Like, with these 3 rituals and a Hornbreaker and a Deranged Brute, and even the Entombed Explosive, like, how could I ever leak? This just probably opens up a little bit more. Plus future picks it could help with, like Last Stand and stuff. If I reroll here, I probably can't afford, you know, I wouldn't be able to afford either of these, right? Could afford maybe anything that comes in cheap, though. The Vapor Funnel still might be a good safety net in case I've misjudged things. But I might just want to keep my gold here. It's probably worth a reroll at any rate, though, just to see what's there. Ooh, Railhammer. That is the only way Fortify would have been worth it. The Mold Braces kind of works. If I'm going to use this tomb, it does mean I get 5 extra armor quite often. Or actually, just enough money to afford either of these. The rail hammer is going to be tough to make use of. It does mean branding rate gets better. Means I get 4 extra armor at the start for my rail beater essence. And it means alloy has a slight buff. And that's about it from here on out. I guess Inflame would be better. And that, I mean, it would make Inflame quite good, actually. Like, that would be a good thing to be sticking on Reaper, considering beyond the days, we don't have a great answer. And honestly, if I've determined I'm probably not hitting Merchant of Magics, I'm probably just going to Hellvent the Dazed card, honestly. It's really good into Diligent. I can just Hellvent it twice, and that actually makes a lot of sense with the Split Anvil. I wonder if I should just... So I'm going Hellvent. I'm going... You know, I guess I could take this Merchant of Magic. Does mean I'm never hitting a Vortex up, though. It's like, on this side, like, the steel probably doesn't do anything, right? But I do get to go to a Caverns and a Vortex. I don't think I can hit this Merchant of Magic. I think we go left here, and then left for the Hellvent. So that means I Hellvent Tiresome Klein Vanilla twice. That's fine. 3 of them in the deck. This Vortex can help me thin it out a little bit. If I can just save my gold, that means I have more removals. I think I should. I'm not gaining a whole lot of gold from Memorial Fund. And I don't want to force it. Like, my playstyle right now just doesn't want to force that. So we'll try to get that other steward out. Of course, it's, yeah. I question that this is a 1 out of 3 chance. It really seems like a 9 out of 10 chance, if I'm being honest. Like, I really feel like I sealed it. I see this 9 out of 10. I'm not necessarily complaining. It's just, like, kind of funny. But it just seems like it's always Crystal Cloak. But that's how we play, right? We just plan to see it, and then we're fine. I think we're pretty fine into it, honestly. Does the armor matter here, though? These guys aren't particularly strong. At 85 shards, maybe they are. It does mean I could be taking a bit of damage onto Prince. I don't know that 15 armor changes gigantically a lot here, though. Is it, I mean, we're going to Hellvent. It's not worth it. You know, if there's any doubt, ring 4 and 5, just don't take the trial. We're going to try to wait on that. Okay, that guy's not sharded up, which is good. We'll put this here for now. I do want to probably toss some on the Ranged Brute. Okay, you're going to go here. I do want this thing in play. And unfortunately, I'm just going to need to kill that. Wait, we really can't be taking that amount of damage. So, putting it top doesn't do much for us. If I put it here, the rage will go away. It does suck that this got sharded up. I should have put it here. What am I doing? What am I doing? Should have just done that. Well, whatever. But we should be able to kill this. Yeah, that kills... To be honest, so this would have been a great turn to do that. We're just going to chump block this. 10. I'm going to do this. That way I just don't have to deal with it. It's not particularly too great of a draw, is it? Just not a whole lot I can do with this. Do I want to take the 6 here? No, this is fine. Burnout is 3. It doesn't die if I put it up here, but it does save me 11. And I would be down to 5 health. Can't really kill it. I could Purify and Cleanse it to survive another hit here. I suppose I can just bring these back. So let's do this. And Purify and Cleanse, I can go top. The Ember Drain sucks, but it is what it is. Alright, this is fine. We're more interested in soaking up hits, so let's do that. Should be good here. Yeah. Well, Reaper's definitely the carry here. That's pretty good. March of Shields is not as good as you'd think. There's just no way it beats this. That's really good too. I mean, it is technically, yes, redundant with this kinda, but not fully. It's not fully redundant with it. Starting to see a lot of reasons to go to a Merchant of Magic though. Like, we're technically still leaking a little bit. I guess the reason I would want a Merchant of Magic at this point is like double stack is pretty high. Even a Permafrost is alright. I would say Consume Remove here is pretty good. But simply just getting... like, I'm gonna have maybe too many 2 costs to really, you know, cash in on the Split Anvil. It's not like I'm giving up a Vortex on either side here. We can't neglect our rate of drawing the rituals either. I do wonder if actually just Hellventing a ritual is winning here now that I've picked up Stealth and that Tiresome Climb. I kind of feel like it is. Yep, let's go for that. Hellvent a ritual. Okay, this works. Be nice if I didn't have to force anything here or here. So let's take the money, I guess, even though it's obviously useless to me here. So we can definitely get rid of the final 2 stewards, and then that's probably all we really need to do. This is fine. This is great because the daze actually helps us here and lets us get a sleigh. This is not the best turn to have shards and such. But this is alright to do here. In fact, I can get 2 sleighs, so might as well. I wonder, do I actually care about these being costed up? I don't, right? This is actually a-okay to do this. Might be nice to just throw one here, but I'm gonna just go all in here for the hell of it. Okay, you can go there. If I do that, is that gonna steal a kill? 120, it's at 110. Like, I'm just thinking about this group here. I guess if I just... yeah, I can just Entombed Explosive, so this is fine. Alright, maybe I will do this actually. just seeing all this bullshit come in, kind of. As okay, we can't chump block there, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and just get our 5 gold there and our energy. Maybe I should have torched that, I don't know. Let's do that, I guess. Oops, that was bad. Disaster averted. Boom. Reaper claims another life. Skipperoni pepperoni? The only reason to take Wickless, I guess, would be if we think we need to, reform Prince if accidents happen, but pretty unlikely that that's the case. You can always set up mid, by the way, if we have to. Because ironically, probably the time to go to the right would be now. Like, would I rather give up a Hell Vent or a Vortex to hit a magic? I guess I gain a Vortex if I hit that magic, but give up a Caverns and a Vortex. I suppose a lot of the high rolly Vortexes or Caverns aren't that good for me. Like, I don't really need extra pip. I don't really need extra ember. Extra purge could be okay. Could get an artifact out of it. I think this is fine to go left. Vortex here is beating whatever that is. I don't think Endless is too good here. Meh. Very meh, but whatever. We can actually gain a lot of gold from that if we get the extra ember from increased ember. Could add health there. I don't know that that's necessarily good for us. Definitely, though, these are out of here. We'll take that. Then we don't have to force any shards. I do need a 3rd strike and extra armor. Alright. Armor 20 here. Most likely not an issue, but I don't want to risk anything. It's just, I have 740 gold. I'm about to earn a lot of gold anyway. Like, it's just not worth the risk to me. This is pretty good here. Let's even just bring you up, I guess. Get that slay. Go there for now, because I don't want to steal the kill here, but I should put some damage there, or else his strikes are going to be wasted. Not much to do here otherwise. Split Anvil will be a little weird with Diligent. Well, I could greed this. Every Purifier has been started up, by the way. Man, I gotta say, bottom decking the Entombed Explosive, not the best thing in the world that's ever happened to me, but whatever. I think we're just gonna take the 120 here. to get this guy up. Man. Not getting him in is iffy. What do we want to do? We do actually just... There's 3 strikes here. We should be putting the damage there. I think I should get this down. I can take the hit. It's fine. I need to, like, prevent some of this damage. I am seeing, like, definitely a defense issue here present itself. See how useful, though, Tiresome Climb was for us? Just super useful card. Like, we would have been devastated by how many draws we would have lost in that fight. And even here, it's going to buy us an extra hit, right? And that's already, like, pretty good. Okay. What's better here, you think? Last Stand or Inferno? The 3 cost on both of them is pretty beneficial to me. Not necessarily into Diligent, but I don't need them to recycle for Diligent. Well, I mean, Last Stand wouldn't anyway. Any reason to take Emperor Scholar? Only for Trap Shoot. The Torch makes it a little worse. It does open up Endless, since I'm probably Hellventing. I just don't think we need a Last Stand. Inferno seems like it solves a lot more issues. As good as Crushing Demise is, I don't know that I particularly need it. I could actually put the Devourer of Death into the Entombed Explosive, but I would like to stay at about 100 shards. I don't want to open myself up to dying top. I'm definitely taking another Ember upgrade. I can live going top and missing on playing an Inferno turn 2. That's the only thing that really severely whacks me on. This also doesn't count as a tomb, which is stupid. I think we skipped the Crushing Demise. I don't think it's that crazy to do that. I already have the Inferno. I mean, come on. Volatile Gauge, not horrible here. It's just like objectively good, right? The rare take of Volatile Gauge this late. I gotta say, I'm taking it, yeah. So we know the interaction here is a little weird, but it actually still does reduce it. I probably just buy all of these. They're all really good. And then we'll just do removals. Unless I want to add health here, which I don't know that I do. I'm trying to think if I do. I think it's not too good. Intrinsics is about the only thing I would spend on there. I think I like the Engulfed in Smoke actually being the Hellvent here. I think that now that I have an Inferno, you know, these are technically better into Diligent, but the nice thing about the Engulfed in Smoke is it keeps both of my dudes surviving, which is like what I want more. So I'm going to duplicate that. And I should make some removals. So I'm going to keep the Tomb. I think I can just get rid of these torches. Alright, 1 removal. Well, we got nothing else to spend our money on. We might as well see what it was. Nothing too sad. Concussive Coals would have been okay. You never be too confident with Reaper, but I think we're pretty confident. Okay, we can just get rid of Vent, honestly. Then we'll go there. You'd like to get rid of this, but it's a bit of a problem. We'll just burn this, and then bring you up. Do that. Still have to take that hit, which sucks. Maybe I should have just started Engulfed in Smoke, but I'm trying to be a little greedy with it. You can take a little hits here and there, that's fine. Let's do that. Sucks that that came in at 3. But I think it's, you know, I can do this, so it's fine. Interesting though, Sinner's Self doesn't seem to affect the blights at all. I can't, because by my understanding the Scourges come in at 0 or 1. I mean, obviously it has to be affecting these blights somewhat, but some of them are coming in at 2, so maybe all it's doing is just reducing them all by 1. I don't know. I honestly can't tell. Well, I think it's pretty important that we get this damn thing into play. We don't want to leak that, but do I even have... Like, that doesn't change anything. I'm like... Actually, it does. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Oops, I didn't even play the 0 cost shard. Good player detected. So this gauge is not helping as much as I thought it would, but now that I finally have the extra energy, it's not quite so bad. Then we can get rid of the Inferno. And we'll get this in. Get your damage to some ridiculous levels. Let's go ahead and start dazing you. Oops. Guess I still didn't have enough energy somehow. One more lightweight. I think we just stack the days here, right? Do that before I forget. I'm very prone to doing that, apparently. Alright, I think the worst of this is behind us. I should just put that up there. I don't know why I didn't. Won't end up mattering too much. Let's go ahead and get our gold for what that's worth. So I mean, as you can see, I mean, Reaper's alright. I'm obviously just full brawler would have been better though, right? But in a world where we didn't have a deranged brute and we didn't have this much rage, you know, say we had Inflame but no rituals, this Reaper Flex would actually make a lot more sense. You know, 10 flat damage is a Razor Sharp's Edge worth of gain. If I'm getting 2 to 3 slays a turn, that scaling could be relevant, right? It could be. So I don't know though. I'm trying to like really reach here to justify this unit. So 10. I really want to get this thing into play, but I think we're gonna have to wait. We'll just do... Right now it doesn't make sense, but if I can keep stacking days, it probably outdoes the stealth for a little bit. Not here, obviously. I should do this, but that was largely useless. Yeah, whatever. Let's get that tomb back, huh? Or not. $60 by 3. I'm trying to make this work out. It's tougher than you'd think. Alright, we can definitely get this in. I can't deal with these spikes. This thing's gonna die anyway. Could have also actually killed my own tomb there. Might have been a better play, but yeah, this is fine. Okay, that came in at 0. Nice. I mean, we can go like this. Might as well do it like this, though. Now we're cooking. Probably it wasn't really worth it to do it there, but whatever. We're gonna win at this point. There's just no way we're not gonna. Alright, you're at 3. Let's put you there or something. And there's not a whole lot else to do. Good Inferno. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot to do. Maybe I should be more focused on the flying kill here at this point. Probably makes sense. Suppose 185. This would help with the flying kill. Wait, you didn't die? How? This is... Okay. Yeah, that's a kill. Reaper claims another. Boom. Alright, I mean, it's okay. It's definitely in the running for one of the worst paths in the game. I gotta say, though, I don't think it can to me, Dire Channel has to take the cake. I deserve a bunch of bad karma for ever even suggesting that Dire Channel might be D tier. It's just so bad. Everything about it sucks. The floor sucks. Like the P10, the P25, the P50, the P75, the P90, everything sucks. In every metric I just named off, I think Dire Channel is the worst path in the game. It's just so bad. It brings nothing. There's no ceiling. So you get kind of some sentient vibes from that, but the ceiling's lower than sentient all of the paths even have. The floor is for sure lower. The floor with Dire Channel is just that it can't do anything for you. It really can't, in a lot of scenarios, do anything for you. Which is bad. But I think Reaper's comparable. They both have like no health. They both suck early. They both, most very likely in a lot of runs, can't do anything relevant for you. And most likely they're worse than any standard banner unit you can put together. That alone right there makes it really hard. Like that's like a metric that you kind of already think about, right? Like, is this unit even worth putting on my floor when I can just make a banner unit that's better? For Dire Channel and Reaper, usually that's the case. Like, honestly, this run, we could have just made 2 Deranged Brutes and said screw Hornbreaker Prince, right? And also imagine a world where we never found Brawler. We obviously never found one Horn Tome on this run, so say I got stuck with full Reaper, why would I ever put this unit on my floor versus just making 2 of these? And yet, obviously this is a really good unit, Deranged Brute, but even think of a more standard unit like Rail Beater. Even in that case, say I just had a Rail Beater, say maybe I found a Multi-Strike or no. I could have also, you know, put a One-Horn Tome, a One-Horn Warrior into it to get Multi-Strike. Very common thing to do. And then, yeah, have a common card like Ritual. That's just better than if I got stuck with full Reaper Prince. So, like, it's not like, I'm not saying Reaper's good, but I do think that at least it flexes better than Dire Channel is. Now, granted, yes, I will say you can flex Titan Channel with Dire Channel, but I think that's infinitely worse than this flex is. This flex actually is an okay unit. I don't mind this unit right here that we have. A triple striking, you know, slay gaining 10 flat damage unit is acceptable, but say you got a Titan Channel 1 or a Titan Channel 2 with Dire Channel, I don't think that's a good unit. Is it better than a full Dire Channel? Probably, but it still sucks. And you know, going back to my point of like, what does the unit do for you in the cases where it's just not worth putting on your floor? Well, a lot of other champs fit that bill a lot of the time. A lot of their champ paths do. Like a big, like think of like a Spike Sentient, right? Like it's often not going to really be a unit that you need to put on your floor. However, a Spike Sentient you can plop on another floor and it will kill Purifiers, it will kill Backliners, maybe even find like an Unleashed Wildwood or an Awake, and you can toss it that way every now and then and it'll actually last the entire fight for you. And in that case, it's providing a lot of value for you, whereas if you throw a Reaper Prince on another floor, it will never do anything for you other than, I guess, technically in this specific combo, it might be able to still be okay by reforming it a bunch. But that's the only one combo out of like, you know, 10 or whatever secondaries that you could get. Like even like I wouldn't say even like Dreg's secondary, you can rely on that unless you start with like 2 Moldeds. And then the same with Dire Channel. Like how is a Dire Channel going to do anything for you? It has even less of a chance to do something for you as a throwaway, right? Because as we said, a Reaper Prince could technically get reformed, and it might end up eventually doing something for you. But if you if you got nothing better to do with your primitive molds, it's fine. But you know, a Dire Channel can't do that. It absolutely cannot. Even throwing a few incants down there, if it's natural to do so, which usually it's not, it still does about nothing for you. It has no health. It's not going to survive hits, especially into Divinity. And it just doesn't gain much. Like, it starts at 3, and that's the best efficiency it ever is. Like, 3 attack for incant is decent efficiency for 1 through 3, but it's heavily capped by the fact that it has 10 health, right? But gaining only 2 damage per incant in the subsequent levels and getting a very minor amount of health is just a joke. And Reaper has a similar problem, right? But I think at least Reaper has the potential to get a Furnace Tap, an Umbra Stone, or a One-Horn Tome. And keep in mind, even if Umbra isn't your secondary clan, you can still find an Umbra Stone and a One-Horn Tome at a cavern, right? It's not likely, but it's not massively unlikely. It's my little rant on Dire Channel, and I mean, honestly, now that this is, I guess, maybe the end here, I'm trying to think if I've missed any. I don't think I have. Let me know if I have, and I can revisit it. But so Compute launches Carpet, whatever. It's a pretty blessed run. You know, if I go back to just quickly review everything I did in the Off the Beaten Path and give my thoughts. Maybe I'll do a proper tier list of Off the Beaten Path stuff in a follow-up video, but just while it's fresh in my mind, the 2 Reapers that we did full spikes into Chaste without any sort of weird doubling the spikes type stuff. I rank that one pretty well. It surprised me with how well it did. I would actually be very open with Spikes Wrathful as being something I lean into if I see Sharpens at the start, or if I start Wrathful and see a Sharpen and nothing else is enticing. I think that it's something that's probably more doable than I'm giving it credit for. So I rank that one pretty well. Reaper Prince, I wouldn't say I rank it that well. You know, the 6 health at the start is just kind of a joke, and even the starting damage is not enough to usually slay anything. It really has such a weak ring 1 that if you don't start with something like a Ritual or some severely, you know, good cards like that in your starter, or have a secondary like Primitive Mold, it's just gonna be pretty rough. Explosive Sentient, I think it's pretty good into specifically Wurmkin, and I think with Stygian it's alright too. I think otherwise there's not ever really a reason to do it. You're just, the problem is, like, you can get a lot of damage if you have a proper deck for it, right? In terms of cultivates, but it still only clears about half the Divinity Wave. And if you have to invest basically your whole turn into that usually. There are exceptions, right? But if you invest your whole turn into that, you didn't do anything else in that turn. You didn't scale any of your actual floor, and you didn't like do much else other than probably build some regen on the Sentient. So it just really falls short if you're not in a clan combo such as Wurmkin or Stygian that can naturally benefit from the fact that you're playing a bunch of these cards on the floor, right? Wurmkin is the best because they have Inspire, they have Eggs, they have Extract cards, and they just generally benefit from Echoes anyway. So, like, it's very hard to not benefit from Explosive in Wurmkin. With Stygian, you do specifically need to find a Siren or a Rare. Otherwise, that's why I think Stygian is iffy for Explosive. I would still probably do the other paths if I can, but you know, if you forced me to go to Explosive with Stygian, it wouldn't feel usually horrible to me, but it does feel pretty bad, obviously, if you don't find a Siren and you don't find, say, an Eel Gorgon or a Lodestone Totem. That's going to be pretty bad. And that's explosive. I don't think the other two paths ever qualify for off the beaten. I guess you could say spikes kinda sometimes, but I've come around on spikes. I think spikes is just a decent path. High floor, low ceiling, and cultivate is similar. Just a decent path. There's no way that I say that they're off the beaten path anymore. Even if I did technically, I think, do one spike cinching game. Tethys. Tethys, oh Tethys. So I think I don't know what to think about Tethys. I think the sweep is, it's an interesting one to think about. It's just so bad, ring 1, that, I mean, the only time I would take it ring 1 is if it was between Conduit and Sweeper and my starting deck had no backline clear. In that scenario, there are some seeds, especially like with something like Restore's secondary. I think Conduit is unwinnable ring 1 in a lot of those cases if you can't clear the backline. And I mean, think of bosses where there's a crossbow behind it, so if you don't have any backline clear, I think you have to take Sweeper in those cases. But, you know, all of that aside, like, the ring 1 just is so tough. And then, I don't know, like, to actually use the spell weakness is actually pretty okay outside of Divinity. I think it's at its best if you kind of did what I did on the one successful run we had with it, where it's like you use the spell weakness for a time, but because it's so unreliable to actually kill Divinity with that plan, I think you do try to transition to just not relying on the spell weakness portion. But you can basically say, yeah, it is a 1 pip sweeper, of which it's the only thing in the game that defaultly has that. And if you do go full spell weakness, you do actually end up with 12 health, which can survive 1 hit top. And if you can find some reliable way to make it survive top and scale it, you actually can just sort of transition into the fact that it's a 1 pip sweeper and scale it as such, and it actually is pretty good there. So I think it's better than Dire Channel. Is it better than Reaper? Maybe. Maybe. Not willing to go that far. And then the Frostbite, I think, is just fine. It almost just doesn't qualify as off the beaten path, because it's the default ring 1 that I'm always going to choose if I see it in almost every case. But obviously, like, using it as a unit that doesn't flex into Conduit would probably be the off the beaten path qualifier, which we did do. I guess it's okay. It has massive survivability concerns, but there are a lot of times when you can get around that. And it is technically like a valuable 1 pip unit. I suppose full Frostbite Tethys isn't that bad. It does severely reduce the amount of turns that you need to survive in Relentless. So, you know, it's okay. I would say it's definitely alright. But, yeah. And then, obviously, I think I've talked enough about Dire Channel. I'm pretty sold that it's the worst path in the game. Full Stalwart. I don't think realistically there's ever any reason to go full Stalwart. Does it suck? I mean, in some combos, there just never would be any point to doing it if you don't have any way to flat increase the stats. But, you know, in Reformedium, in Awoken, in Wormkin, it's acceptable. You know, it's not horrible. But I just don't ever see any reason to go full Stalwart. Now, Primordium, or Penumbra, it's not great. I think it's still better than Dire Channel, because as we've seen, if you get an Ember Drain deck, if you get your run-of-the-mill Ember Drain deck, either route of Penumbra probably carries you. Monstrous is technically probably easier to do it, but I think I would argue that usually if I start Gorge, which I always just think you start Gorge over Monstrous, unless I see specifically a Void Mining in my opener. Maybe an Immortal Trade as well could push me toward it, but you know, long story short, you know, Gorge still has a 75% chance to pick up Monstrous as a flex. I would just pick up the flex to get the trample. You're looking for Shroud Spike or Shroud Mitosis anyway, so making it 4 pip doesn't like change a whole lot of your ability to make it a carry. I just think it's usually not worth it to make Penumbra your carry. That's why I like Gorge, because I just want it as a champ that will get me through rings 1 through 3, and it'll have the option to carry if I find Shroud Spike, maybe if I find Shroud Mitosis. Otherwise, it's just a throwaway, and the reason it doesn't really, you know, non-Architect Penumbra just isn't that good of a champ in my book is because of the throwaway. It just doesn't do anything as a throwaway. Monstrous can... I think Monstrous is overrated as a throwaway. To go full Monstrous, obviously you need a pip upgrade, so it's not even really a throwaway at that point, unless you naturally are taking a pip upgrade. Outside of like Queen Imp secondary, I don't see gigantic reasons to do that a lot of the time. Maybe Melting secondary. But yeah, I think it's massively... We should actually just go to the logbook screen to show it. Like, so, you know, full Monstrous, it's 6 pip. At 100 health, I think of things in terms of Divinity, and how many waves is it going to survive there? At low shards even, 3. And guess what? That's not a good number, because that means it's just feeding armor to the 3rd wave. And also, it's, unless you can break the damage shield on the first group 50% of the time, you're not even getting the trample effect. And even without all that, 170, it just isn't like doing that much. If I compare instead to like, say, the Bristling Sentient, it does more overall damage actually to the units that you want it to as well. And yeah, 120 isn't massively different than 100, but there's context here, right? The context is Awoken is a clan that has a bunch of ways to heal. The only way that... and granted, yeah, there's damage shield, there's lifesteal, but these are things that you don't really want to be throwing on your Monstrous Penumbra, whereas it's not like that big of an investment just to toss a heal down to a Spike Sentient. And also I didn't have to take a pip upgrade to do that. And even, and I don't know, I think the 100 to 120 is still relevant because I believe, don't quote me on this, I'm trying to think in my head, I'm just thinking from like past experience, I don't think it dies to wave 3 at 120. I think it's like right at the threshold. But I'd have to, you know, don't quote me on that. I think that's... And then Glutton has the other problem of like, it could actually be an okay throwaway if they didn't do the asinine thing of never increasing its base stats. Like, if this just simply had a health... I'm adamant about this. Like, Glutton would be a decent path in this game if it just had health on additional upgrades. Like, it should go to like 30 and then 50, in my opinion. At 50, with the lifesteal 2, it could survive long enough to gorge a bit. And even if it's not your main carry, it's at least okay as a throwaway if you're like spamming some morsels to the mid. And then that alone would make it usable. It still wouldn't be like a top tier champ path, but it would be so much more usable. At 20 health though, it's just such a goddamn nightmare to use it as like as a 2-floor setup where it's not the main focus of your deck. It just very likely isn't going to do anything for you into Divinity without some serious TLC. We never did any Rectors. I just don't think any of the paths ever fit off the beaten path. Same with Little Fade. We did do Infector. Infector is probably the top of all the off the beaten path things. It's just like a really good path that is overshadowed by Decayer and Corruptor. I would say both Decayer and Corruptor, if they ever get around to rebalancing the games, should get nerfed. You know, they're just way too powerful. An Infector can be fine in that case. Like, I would definitely take it in a lot of cases. I mean, you can just take Infector probably and it's fine. Like, it is that good. It is like an A tier champ path probably. And similarly, I just don't think anything Echowright really fits off the beaten path. Like, there's always reasons to take any of these. You know, some people might argue Shellsmith, but I wouldn't. I've had, like, Shellsmith to me is probably the boring path, but it is very consistent, and I would even argue probably in the case of choosing Repeater and Shellsmith, if that's like your two choices and you don't have any consumables, I might lean towards Shellsmith in that case, just because I think a 15-15 covers you better than a 25-5 does. You know, 15-15 base stats versus 25-5. Your wave clear will be better here, but you have 5 health and a 2-pip unit. It's really risky. I guess that's everything. Oh no, Shardtail. We didn't say that. I think Rally is underrated. It has the Infector problem of just really not having a reason to ever get chosen, but I don't, like, I have massive disagreements, I think, with, like, a lot of people just seem to say that it's in the running with, like, Dire Channel. To me, they're not even comparable. Like, Rally Queen is so much better. Like, yeah, it does have the problem of having that 10 health, but I guarantee you that you'll get Shardtail to doing more damage. If we think of it in the context of Ring 1, guarantee you it does more damage than Dire Channel. And also, I guarantee you that the context here is that you have built-in chump blockers with the Queen Simps, which you just don't have any guaranteed, like, defense with Dire Channel. Keep in mind, any deck, it's always possible to bottom deck all your stewards, and wave 1 will meet you at that point. Shardtail Queen is impossible to not draw jump blockers. So, and then beyond that, I think the ceiling is just there, right? Like, it can have a ceiling. It has the same health scaling as Dire Channel, but the context here is it's just so much easier to actually make Shardtail Queen survive, right? You got stuff like Welder Helper, you have chump blockers, you have a lot of armor, you have daze, you have removal. Like, there's just a lot there. I think it still scales way better than Dire Channel. You know, it actually has power spikes here, right? It goes up, you know, second rank isn't great, but it does get that third rank power spike of 25. So if you were to go full rally, which I wouldn't really recommend, but if you do, 25 is pretty good. And again, unlike Dire Channel, you can give it trample, you can give it multi-strike. And honestly, One-Armed Tome, even much more so than Reaper, is very doable on Shardtail Queen with the context of, like, it would be pretty common just to run an endless Welder Helper into it, right? Very common, if you're gonna actually build around this unit. And then a One-Horned Tome is very easy to play on her. It all rounds down to being a moot point, though, because I just don't recommend ever going Rally when Parade and Imperialist are so much better, right? Much better as throwaway units in particular, which just Queen often is going to be. We also did full Imp Parade. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, at its best, probably with a Consumer of Crowns, right? But we basically just carried with the actual imps. It's probably good enough to maybe even just not be considered as off the beaten path. You know, I've always kind of flexed. I've always been a little shying away from full Imp Parade when I get stuck with it, and I'll just pick up a royalty. because I don't want to deal with the plethora of units, but actually I think maybe just full in parade's fine. That welder helper is pretty good. Every now and then you have the awkward run where it kind of is just downgrading your deck, but it's probably more often than not that it's not downgrading your deck to just go full in parade. It does also give you a base 40 damage increase, which is not nothing. So is that it? I think that was it, right? Yeah. We didn't really do Wildington because not a huge reason. I think every path has reasons to be taken, right? So that is it. Off the beaten path. My thoughts. Dire Channel sucks. That's the main thing you can take away from it. It's horrible. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.